I just do it. You like, go ahead, Scott, start the... It's Teleforum.
I thought you were swatting a lanternfly.
I just having one of my twitches. I appreciate your concern. It's 11:35. It's Thursday, and that means it's the weekly visit from Scott Tatey, Beaver County Times entertainment editor. But
better than that,
you made me so happy, and I know you had very little to do with it, but I'm still going to, you know what I'm saying? I have known Nick. I've interviewed you 4 or 5 times.
Yes.
We've never met in person. We have a Hall of Famer amongst us. Would you like to introduce Mr. Well, I already said his name, but go ahead.
It would be my honor and privilege to announce that joining us in studio, Monaca Hall of Famer, nationally known musician, Nick Ziegler. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, guys, rock and roll. All right.
This is being live streamed, too.
All right, everybody.
Oh, we got to do the rock and roll thing.
Rock and roll.
You got the Halloween musician
I'm
shirt
ready,
going?
yeah,
Dude,
I'm ready.
He's the most prepared ever for this show.
He brought merch. He brought you a mug. He's got T-shirts in his trunk. That's a rocker.
I am really glad, and I've got plenty of coffee cups, but you have your favorites. One of my favorite coffee cups was your band.
Right, 4019 mug, yeah.
4019.
Yeah.
I broke it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's rock and roll.
And you hooked it. Exactly. That's how you know what's going on.
That's right.
So, do you want me to talk to you, Tatey? Because you and I talk. I got nothing to say to you.
You can skip past me. Let's talk about Nick being back in town. He's got the Hall of Fame induction and a lot of other stuff going on. What's happening, Nick?
Well, I tell you, Friday night, I'm honored to be inducted into the Beaver Valley Musicians Union Hall of Fame with not only the greats like that I'm Henry Mancini and Iris and the Jaggers and some of my old professors, my teachers,
really?
Mr. Mancini, Pat Mancini at Monaca High School and Junior High, and David Fath. Both are gone now, but they were pretty instrumental in formulating my love of music as a young guy.
When did you go from I dig music to I want to do this my whole life? Because some people love it and then they go do grown-up stuff.
Well, it's probably when I was about 14 when I decided to actually get a kit. My mom got me a used kit downtown Monaca at an old thrift store at the time. I noticed my father was a drummer. As I got older, I could tell the way my dad would tap on the desk. As I learned drums through Mr. Mancini, I said, my dad was a drummer. He never told me, but yeah. I learned. And he said, yeah, he learned as a kid. My mom was a musician, played self-taught guitar. So we always had music, but when I got that drum kit, and then I said, that's what I want to do. And so I pursued it hard.
Did you ever ask your dad why he never brought it up?
I just think he was just musically, he could also play harmonica.
Okay.
And that was just the kind of guy he was, I think he said, let Mom be in charge of the music, because we had a little upright piano in the house, and she took us to lessons, my sister, my brother. And then I tried piano. I got as far as Little Brown Jug down at Silver's. And I couldn't get the left hand working, and I got the right hand.
Well, no, wait. You couldn't get the left hand and the right hand working together?
I couldn't get them to go.
How do you get your left and your right and your left foot and your right foot all going together?
That's the thing I can't figure out.
A guitar just didn't keep you busy enough?
No. So, but yeah, anyway, that was when I decided. And they are always cool to me. They always help anything for me to go for it. So I always used to say my dad and my mom worked night shifts at the hospital. My dad, he and his buddy Al would go out to McDonald's as often as they could so I can get the house by myself and practice. And I always say my dog used to, when I was really thumping the tubs poorly, he would be nipping at my leg and running around. And he's the one who said, as I got better, he started to mellow out. So I said, I guess I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, that's great. I must be getting better. The dog's not biting me?
Yeah, he's not biting me.
Eddie, I'm going to say something that's going to make you so jealous. Nick Ziegler, right out of high school, went to England. And what band did you see in England?
I saw, I saw The Clash. Yeah, 1980. It's
what do you say to that?
I got nothing.
I thought it was a joke when I looked at I went in. My sister was always the one that traveled, and my father, of course. Everyone talked about places I wanted to go, and my sister got me into music when I was very young as well. Went to England. This also went with Barney. I went 3 times, so I got my travel Jones out of the way. Freddie Laker offered flights to a dishwasher at York Steakhouse could go to Europe. He's the king as far as my concern. But I went and the Clash were playing, and I said, Barney, is this? Because they were out kind of on the outs in England at the time.
They had upset some powerful people.
Yeah,
yes.
And I said, Clash, 7 nights at the Lyceum, we're going. And so we would have gone all 7, but we were. I was a dishwasher at York. He was a dishwasher at Woolworth's, whatever that restaurant was called there, Harvest House, for all you old timers out there.
What did you think? Did you come back home and say, "Hey, you guys don't know these guys yet, but you're gonna dig it"?
Yeah, I know. Like some of, I remember my sister working at the record National Record Market.
NRM.
So we were, people were always bringing in stuff, and I don't know how well they were known. My sister always had the New Music Express in the house. And
that's the magazine.
And I saw the flights were cheap, and I'm going. But people were aware of them and the Pistols, but they were never there. The Pistols were supposed to play Pittsburgh in '77. I have the poster. My sister grabbed one off a newsstand in Smithfield Street News.
Nice.
And, well, anyway, that's how I got this.
Nothing says punk music like stealing things.
That's right. So anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you. Every time you say something, I got more questions because that was the heyday of music, as far as I'm concerned, as a kid. Yeah. But it wasn't going on here, and for you to go and see that had to make an indelible impression.
I knew of the Clash, a couple of their records at the time, but to see them live was I'd never seen anything like that. I've been to see Skinner and Skin Madhouse at the arena, and things are rocking here, but that was a whole different type of experience, and to see the Clash at that level, to me that was their peak. That was Radio Clash era.
What do you remember about the Valley's music scene in the early '80s? You were still living here then, right? What were the hot spots, and what did you guys like to do?
Maury's, weren't 21, so we found ways to explore the space, as they say, to get in, and we'd listen to the side, or we'd find a way to get in, and go through that tunnel. That was an experience. Chatting with Joe Grishecki about the Jerry's, getting to talk to him now. My sister used to do photographs every once in a while for Gennady Brothers, and not a lot, but she would do things like that. So the scene was so remarkable here. I got to carry that with me to London, and we'd chat to kids on the street. We were 17, whatever we were, and they want to know as much about us as we wanted to know about them. So I would tell them about our scene here, Gennady's, V.E. Taylor's, all the punk stuff that was coming up, the decade, so forth.
Yeah,
so we were sharing
the anti-flag era.
Yeah, we were sharing ideas, and they wanted to know as much about us as we did them, and I brought that back with me. As a matter of fact, I came back in '80. I was late for school for the first 2 weeks. I got kicked out of school.
Back up. You're not late for 2 weeks. No. At that point, you're absent.
Yeah, I'm absent.
Why were you absent?
Because I was in England.
You didn't bring a note?
No. Well, my mom told him. He said, "Hey, sorry, my son's in England right now. He's coming back." But then I think I was kicked out of school for 2 weeks.
That makes sense.
You learned a lot more there, I bet.
Yeah. And I never forget, Mr. Sullivan turned around to me and he said, when in his class, he said, "So why'd you do it, man? Why'd you go over there?" And say, "Yeah, I wanted to see what was going on."
Just check it out.
Checking it out.
How did you have that attitude when people in general can be rather provincial? They're cool with where they are, but at 17 years old, saying, "All right, I'm going to go to a different country across the ocean."
Here's a good analogy, I think. Iggy Pop, and I mentioned this yesterday. He was interviewed, and this is when it clicked to me. They go, what influenced you, your generation? He says, simple, World War II and rock and roll. I heard all these stories of my dad. I'd sit and listen to my dad and his buddies chat, and that was their way of talking through stuff.
Sure.
And it was all good experience, not the war stuff that they chatted amongst themselves. This was traveling, going out there, going for it. I'd hear about the South Pacific. I'd hear about Los Angeles. He spent a lot of time in L.A. during the Korean conflict. And I'd hear about, he'd talk about going to see Hank Williams, going to see Chubby Checker, going to see these guys. My dad was an old rockabilly cat, you know? And those guys, those mill guys used to dress sharp, remember? Like, when they come out,
Yeah.
they go, like we were talking with LB about this. He had his place in Ambridge, and my dad took me down to Jacobson's, downtown Aliquippa. Said, you're getting a suit. And so,
A stylish suit.
yeah, stylish. And they had the short, and they did it, it was called a modified zoot. It went down to your fingertips. And then your cuff was, I think it was 9 inches. And they go, I go, why is that, Dad? And he says, so you don't trip when you're dancing. That's how those guys did it. So anyway.
You took things out to L.A.
Yeah.
from Beaver County, and
Yeah.
you got in some bands. One was getting early MTV airplay, and
yeah, I met Mary's Danish through just being out there. I met a couple Pennsylvania
Really?
guys. I met some PA guys out there. We became friends. And I got in with this one manager who wanted to be a singer for us, but he eventually decided he wanted to manage. Says, hey, I know this band, Mary's Danish, and they weren't that well known at the time. They were hard-working, good band. Yeah. I really liked them because we played a show together. They asked me to play, and one thing leads to another, and we're doing a video, and we're on MTV, so, and our song was picked up. It was called Don't Crash Your Car Tonight.
I remember it.
Really fun song.
Yeah.
And it was a demo, and we eventually recorded it. But with a demo, hit it on K-Rock. Then it went national, whatever. But that just tells the younger bands, man, it's out there. You know, you just have to apply yourself.
Was K-Rock Jim Ladd, or was that KLOS?
That was KLOS.
Okay.
Yeah, K-Rock with guys like The Poor Man, Freddie Snakeskin.
And then later
Ken
on,
Fusion.
the paired up morning show.
Yeah, Bean. I forget Kevin and Bean.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So Powerhouse. They were accessible back then. I don't know now, but you could go take your record up to Rodney's, the back door there, and Rodney would be right there. And you come, and not in my experience, but the Ramones would be there. They'd answer the door, hey, and it's the Ramones. So a lot of bands, that's how they got in. They'd you know, for an experience, they'd hand Joey Ramone the 45, and he'd take it in to Rodney. Pretty neat, you know.
well, didn't you open and play with some big bands like Chili Peppers, and what are some of the people you rubbed elbows with?
Yeah, we would rehearsing one night, and we come out, and Flea and Anthony are hanging outside listening to us. And
Loitering.
You would see so many great artists outside the rehearsal halls. You and I were talking about Stray Cats earlier.
Yeah.
And well, anyway, we hit it off, and that was right when it was Frusciante's first gig, or second gig.
So he was straight, and this was before he wasn't straight, and then got straight and came back.
Yeah,
this was early.
This was his first,
okay.
1987 or 88, whatever that was. And we played this big outdoor thing, and we hit it off with them, Fishbone, Jane's Addiction. They were friends. They'd come to our shows.
Is Perry Farrell as big a freak as he likes to pretend he is?
I think he's a very artistic guy in all aspects. I could chat with him now, and I haven't seen him in 100 years, and he would I remember. I'm not the best of friends with these guys. It's a long lifetime away.
You can get an impression, especially if you're watching them play music. They're expressing. You're going to get that expression.
And they were always there. George Wendt would come hang out. He was a rock and roller. He'd come out. Him and the dude from the Turtles. His name escapes me at the moment. They would come out at night, and they would. Not the dark-haired one.
Flo and Eddie?
Yeah, Flo and Eddie.
Thank you.
They would come to shows. It was just a wonderful time, and I would always wear my Manaka shirt.
Nice.
I always wore my Manaka shirt, my brother's old Phys Ed, and there's plenty of photos of me wearing this. And then they always, people want to know where is. Oh, it's my hometown, Manaka. That's a home of, you know. And I'd start telling them the names about our scene, you know, and the bands would come. Play Pittsburgh, and so.
What's amazing to me, we'll talk about your current band, the 4019s, but you are such a staunch advocate for the Pittsburgh music scene. 3,000 miles away, you're doing more to support Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania, Beaver County music than just about anyone I can think of.
Well, I try, yeah. I just always try to mention back home and all the bands and the scene. And one of the things, that we were chit-chatting about was the infrastructure that was available in the 79, 80. It was... You had Doyle's, Dr. Doyle's. You had the music shop. Now you have BVP, which you always have had, the music shop, Brighton Music's in town. And the other thing, when a musician's, and you'll know this, when you go into a town, if you're able to, you're going to a music shop.
You're going to a music store and you're going to a record store. Those
So
are the two things. Yeah.
That's like you get the vibe, the beat of the vibe of the city. Well, anyway, that's here, man. And Inner Groove is happening.
Yep.
So I was
Downtown
just,
Monaco.
yeah, I was just up in Butler yesterday at the Rock Station. And
That's us too.
that's you guys.
Yeah, 97.7.
That's why I was saying. I was chatting to those guys up there, and that's another great community thing, man. You know, so the bands up there, I encourage them to come down to see, you know, to the Beaver Valley and vice versa.
And you brought your California band, the 4019s, to Beaver County. You guys tour just about every year. You play Beaver County gigs. I mean, the other guys fly across the country to play these shows.
They'll come all the way, and they'll come in from Detroit. I've had guys, my buddies coming in, old bandmates coming in from Minnesota, you know, Minneapolis, old school guys coming in from South Carolina. We all were LA guys, but they love it here and enjoy. And they've been to the station,
Beaver Station, Woolly Bullies.
Woolly Bullies. And we all came in at the old location of BVP. It's such a great scene, and it's really coming around too now. You know, there's a lot of cool places to play here, and Mario's, and you know, I think bands out of town, Pittsburgh bands, are starting to discover that too. So recognize it's always been here. It's just a matter of, you know, exploring your options, man.
And what's new with your band, the 4019s? You get national radio airplay.
Yeah, we get airplay on here, of course, Underground Garage and College Radio and a couple other national stations. And the band's going to be playing on the 20th out in Temecula with Mike Peters of The Alarm. It's his solo thing.
Yeah.
He does a thing for cancer awareness. And
Okay.
so it's really nice because we enjoy doing things for causes. Every time we come back, we try to get a cause, bring attention to something, or help out any way we can. Because I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, and you know, we want to pay back. You know.
Nick Ziegler is my guest, Hall of Famer. Scott, have you noticed what's happened?
What's that?
I could give a tinker's damn about what you got to say. And I feel bad. I don't get to talk. I get to talk to Nick, but you don't hear these stories.
And I just love the fact he's so Beaver County proud too.
How many times do you have to correct people when they see the Monaca shirt and say it's Monica?
All the time, yeah.
Okay.
I have a crazy story. I told this a while back. I wear it. I was working in the film industry, and that's what I do all the time when we're not on strike.
Yes.
And I worked. I was fortunate enough to work a few Eastwood movies, and he always would see me wearing that, and he goes, "Hey, how do you say that?" He didn't want to say, and I told him, that's Monaca.
Okay.
So he's like, you know, how do you say that, kid? So
Who's the
Did you make his day?
I made his day, yeah.
Real quick, the coolest person working in your industry is the film industry. Coolest person that you met that before you met him, you thought, I bet that guy's a jag-off, and they ended up not being a jag-off.
Well, it's not so much that he's an actor that he actually, anytime I'll say, hey, can you do a promotion? And he sent something in when we did the Beaver Station shows.
Okay.
Reed Diamond. He's, you would know all that. I know him from Memphis Belle.
He was with Michael Chiklis in that the L.A. police drama, drawing a blank, but that was a phenomenal show.
Yeah, Life on the Streets, New York.
Okay.
But and we hit it off on a show because I noticed he was a musician, and one of us had a shirt on or something, and it was nice to shoot the crap about music and not talk about the other stuff. And we hit it off. And then when we did that show with Grishecki, I said, hey, and he sent me a nice little video pop mentioning the town
so cool.
and stuff. So.
All
Good
right,
guy.
We've completely torched the half hour. Scott, you got greened room, but you got shown on TV at the same time.
And I got a T-shirt and a mug.
Yeah.
And you got a T-shirt.
Yeah.
How long are you in town, Nick?
I'm here till the end of, or evening of Sunday. Yeah. Johnny D jumping. What's it, the hang around with Johnny D is at Mario's.
Okay.
And it's a good thing. It's a great thing where all the musicians can get together. He has the chord charts, and you hang out, and it's good for musicians to meet one another, out of towners that aren't. It's a small world as well as it's a big world.
It's a big world with a small population.
Yeah, exactly. So he wanted to do something to help musicians, and so I'm going to go hang out down there sing a song or two and help out any way I can.
You have absolutely made my day. Scott Tatey, thanks for coming by and serving no purpose. I served no purpose.
You guys are
all
great.
I wanted to do is Scott, you want to call tomorrow and talk about what you've been doing? I honestly feel really bad that we just said, hi, Nick, huh? And
I almost forgot we're on radio. It's just like having a good, fun conversation.
Yeah. I enjoy listening to you guys.
That's when it's the most fun.
If people back out west, rather, I always have your show on Facebook Live.
And he needs a T-shirt. He needs a BVP T-shirt.
Well, I got to be rocking
t-shirt.
the Beaver T-shirt, man.
Dude, you show up with coffee mugs, we're going to hook it up.
By the way, Lenny, he designed that. It's I always loved that because it reminds me of the days of the Stray Cats and stuff. And Lenny is in the Popular Creeps now, and he wanted to come down. He couldn't because they're playing in Detroit tomorrow night. So he's one of those guys that would come down for this. But he said to say hi to you guys.
Yeah, hi to Lenny.
Yeah, Rockin' Leonard.
Scott Tatey has been my guest. Nick Ziegler, wonderful to meet you in person,
Same here,
man.
sir. Appreciate it.
It's Teleforum. That's been the highlight of my day by far, and it ain't going to change.
Thanks for tuning in to Notes on Local Entertainment with Scott Tatey, entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times, and Eddie Crow. Tune in again next Thursday at 11:30 for all of the updated music information in Beaver County.
When you talk about community involvement and safety, the name Fry stands at the forefront in Beaver County. Fry Transportation's mission is to continue to raise the bar as the gold standard in their industry by providing the safest, most reliable, and cost-efficient transportation service in Beaver County through their strong relationships with their communities, best-in-their-class drivers, equipment, and technology. There's nothing more important than the safety of their students, employees, and community members. Fry Transportation, where the quality of their organization is characterized by the makeup of the individual behind the wheel.
Pittsburgh Penguins hockey is back on Beaver County Radio.
Crosby out the center. Tried to get around the stick, and McAvoy does. On the backhand, centers in front. Russ flips it on net and scores! That was magical!
Tune in all season long as the revamped Pittsburgh Penguins are on a quest to win their 6th Stanley Cup championship. Penguins hockey on Beaver County Radio is being brought to you by the St. Barnabas Health System, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, Patriot Home Care, Friendly Federal Credit Union, the Keystone Wellness Program, and Beaver County Radio. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com is your home for Geneva College Golden Tornado football. Tune in this Saturday, October 7th, as the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes take on the Grove City Wolverines for a homecoming match at Reese Field, with kickoff set for 3 p.m. Geneva football is being brought to you by Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, the Beaver County Career and Technology Center, East Rochester and Tusca Shop and Saves, the True Value Hardware inside East Rochester Shop and Save, Dr. C. Timothy Lipp, Fry Transportation, A.K. Nahas Furniture and Appliance Center, the law offices of Dylan McCandless, King, Coulter, and Graham, Geneva College, the Beaver Falls Athletic Department, and Beaver County Radio. Thanks for tuning in to Beaver County Radio, created by local people in the St. Barnabas studios. 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA.
St. Barnabas thanks you for listening to Beaver County Radio.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.